I couldn't ever envisage being in a band with my brother. We're strangling each other, you know.
Hello and welcome. This is episode 19 of the Paul Ryder Tapes. I'm Angela Smith. I'm the ex-wife of Paul, who sadly passed away in July of 2022. In the months leading up to his death, he sat down with me and told his complete life story. All of the triumphs and all of the tears, with an unprecedented level of bravery. We finished recording just 12 days before he died. Coming up in this episode. If anyone had said that we'd be buying our son for his 13th or his 14th birthday?
I think it was his 14th.
Grow equipment, I'd have thought they were insane.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like the right thing to do, given it was the medicine that had probably saved his life.
Yeah, and he took to it like a duck to water.
We'd only just got in the rows of hell when we heard gunshots. Somebody up the road had fired a gun at somebody.
The next thing I really knew was, they were going to do a song with him, and Mike Pickering was going to remix Wim Away, and he was part of the factory team, and they were going to sign him and shit, so it happened quite quickly.
When I got clean, I think I turned to sex.
Right.
A bit of a sex addiction.
It's Paul on my shoulder all the time, you know. Don't make a dick of yourself, don't, you know, because I would, you know, and don't, keep it real.
If you could go back and do your life again, are there some things that you wouldn't do?
I wouldn't have tasted heroin for the first time. That changed my life for many years.
Right, but then again there's the argument that if you hadn't done that, you would have gone down a different path. Where would that path have led you?
Definitely alcoholism.
Oh. So maybe you made the right choice.
Maybe I did make the right choice.
No, I would never.
Alcohol's worse than any drug.
Well, to excess.
Yeah, if you're an addict and you got the addict gene like I have, then it's going to kill you. It's going to kill me.
Yeah. So, do you regret picking up heroin with hindsight now?
With hindsight, God, everything's different, isn't it?
Right, but
yes, I regret it, but where would I be if I hadn't have done? What space would I be in right now? Don't know. Probably a bad space. But right now I'm in a good space.
I mean, I actually feel that people that have been through addiction and come out the other side are actually better people as a result of having gone through and done their work and come out the other side, potentially.
You can't just stop. For me, I couldn't just stop and then carry on life. I had to have aftercare. For me, people do stop and carry on with life and get a great life, but not for me. I had to have aftercare. And that is what made me who and what I am right now.
And part of aftercare is helping other people too, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I suppose just by being there for them and being a living example of it can be done. You can stop taking drugs and drink and have a life. I thought my life was going to be really boring if I stopped doing that. But it turns out there's not enough hours in the day for me to do everything I want to do.
Wow. Okay, so what are those things that you want to do?
Oh God, just simple things like go for a walk. Very simple things like make a bit of music on the computer, sit and watch a TV show. I missed out on so many films when I was using and drinking. I'm still catching up today.
In terms of, in the last episode we were talking about Chico being sick. How did that affect you as a human being? Like, how did it affect you as a dad?
Oh God, it was crippling. It really crippled me for a while, and I still got my head round it, knowing that he was going to get better. But when I didn't know he was going to get better, well, I always knew he was going to get better, but when he was first ill, it was like, I can't do anything. I cannot do anything. It's down to the medication that he's going to have to take. I can't physically put my hands on him and say, there, you're better.
But we didn't just sit back and keep our fingers crossed that Western medicine would cure him. We did our homework and discovered an array of natural medicines that we believed helped save Chico's life, including cannabis oil, which we gave to him in large doses, guided by the experts that we found. His oncologist was initially sceptical, but once he saw how it helped Chico as he went into remission from the cancer, he had a dramatic change of heart.
Dr. Fetterman, you know, he's such a kind man and he's such a gentle man. And I'm really glad that he was the one that was looking after Chico, because even though he didn't support cannabis and he thought it was just as soon to throw it in the garbage or flush it down the toilet as to use it to treat cancer, he didn't stop you. He didn't like threaten to call Child Protective Services, which back in those days, the little girl, for example, that Chico was kind of friends with, that's, you know, I mean, they were having to hide. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So Fetterman was definitely not an ally. He wasn't a foe, but he wasn't an ally.
Yeah.
And after he started seeing the results of how it was working to not only help Chico make it through the chemo sessions, because he said himself he'd never seen anyone suffer as bad of side effects from chemo as Chico. That he also saw that it had other benefits as well. It was helping his appetite. It was probably helping to kill the cancer. It was certainly protecting him. The amount of neuropathy that he would have had versus what he does have, and some of the other side effects long-term of chemo, he was shocked. And so I had Aunt Zelda's and I started Zelda Therapeutics, which is now Zelira Therapeutics. And we were set up to do clinical and preclinical trials on various different types of diseases. And shockingly, he actually ended up being on our advisory board for this, you know, because he saw, number one, that we were serious, that we were not like hippy dippy, you know, gram a day bullshit. There you go, by swearing. I mean, we weren't doing that whole, you know, Rick Simpson, crazy, idiotic gram a day thing. We weren't using butane. We were using lab tested. Everything was like, he couldn't come up with an argument that we couldn't facilitate him having ease with. And so it was like, it removed his obstacles. And I think that was really positive. And he ended up being an ally. I ended up sending him topical, a case of it for him to give out to his patients to help with the radiation.
And how did that make you feel that you couldn't do that?
Useless. Pretty damn useless.
Yeah.
I had to wait it out. I had to practice patience.
You were a bit of a mess though throughout that time. I mean, we both were, I suppose.
Yeah, it was a whirlwind. Didn't expect that to come in my life.
No.
Yeah.
And what about the temptation to pick up and use again during that time?
Well, I had my little flirtation with the over-the-counter medication.
Oh, and also, do you remember his bottle of morphine?
Oh no, tell me about that.
So Chico was prescribed morphine at one point, and I thought, I'm going to have to hide this from Paul. But you found it, and the level kept going down.
Oh, it was quite nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so you had a little slip there, didn't you?
I had a little slip with his morphine. I really wanted to try it.
Yeah.
And I did do.
Yeah. I hid it really well as well. I hid it in the bedroom in a cupboard under the windowsill, under a load of curtains, and you still found it. And the level kept going down. I was like, I haven't given any of this to Chico. Why is the level going down? And you're like, oh, I don't know. I knew.
The curtain monster.
I knew that you'd had some, but you were denying it and denying it.
Of course I'm going to deny it.
That's like the insanity, isn't it? Of addiction.
Of course I was going to deny it. That was a huge blow to my ego.
Yeah, anyway, sorry, I interrupted you. Talk about the over-the-counter meds that you were struggling with?
Yeah, you can't get them in America, but you can get them in. I was going to England. Was I going to England?
Yeah, you were. Don't say what they are because you don't want to give people.
No, but they had codeine in them. I took a fancy to them for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
yeah.
that medication that you can get over the counter in England was actually what pushed you into your last rehab.
Right.
Oh, not the one that brought us to the US.
Yeah.
You weren't addicted to street drugs at that point.
Yeah.
You were addicted to over-the-counter meds that you can buy in Boots.
Yeah.
Which is really frightening, isn't it?
Very
when you think
frightening.
about it.
Yeah, yeah. They're banned almost all over Europe and in America, but in England you can still get them.
Yeah.
And
You were on a lethal dose of these things
yeah.
because they also had paracetamol in them, and you were taking so many. I remember the doctor saying that you were on a lethal dose of paracetamol every day.
Yeah.
It's amazing that your liver didn't fail. I mean, you're like Iron Man, really, that you're still walking around given what you've done to yourself.
Yeah, paracetamol's really dangerous. I heard a story once about this girl that took a paracetamol overdose, and they rushed her to hospital and pumped out her stomach. Mm-hmm. But the next day she died because it had got into her liver.
Yeah.
You know.
It's really, really dangerous.
Really dangerous.
So after Chico got through his treatment,
yeah,
it was pretty rocky, wasn't it, at home? We had a bit of a rough time with you were rocky. Things were not going well at home.
My medication from my psychiatric doctor wasn't. It needed tweaking, and it wasn't working right. You know, but eventually it got tweaked and sorted me out. But what I do remember from that period as he's getting better, Chico's getting better, was he became an expert weed grower.
Oh, yeah.
For his 14th birthday, it was like, what do you want for your birthday? Well, I want lights, an extractor fan, a tent, some seeds, some soil, and some kind of sprinkler system. And it was right, okay, you can have exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And he grew his own crop.
Yeah, so we bought him. I mean, if anyone had said that we'd be buying our son for was it his 13th or his 14th birthday?
I think it was his 14th.
Grow equipment, I'd have thought they were insane.
Yeah, yeah.
But it just seemed like the right thing to do, given it was the medicine that had probably saved his life.
Yeah, and he took to it like a duck to water.
Yeah.
We always wanted to grow. He was telling me when he was 11 years old that he wanted to make medicine to help other children. He couldn't understand why other children didn't get to access this medicine. He experienced firsthand the power of this plant as a anti-emetic, anti-pain, and all these different things. He had experienced this, so he knew that it wasn't BS. He knew it wasn't about getting high. And frankly, if they enjoy it, that's even better. It's such a Western philosophy to think that you have to suffer to get well, that medicine has to make you feel terrible. No, it doesn't. Yeah. And we need to rethink the way that we approach that puritanical approach to medicine. So anyway, Chico wanted this greenhouse, and money's always tight or whatever, and you found this great deal on one that hadn't been used, but it had been taken apart and put together and was being sold as a used greenhouse. And my husband Stuart is, can do anything. He's like a magic man when it comes to, anything with his hands. And he said, yeah, I'll help you put it together. And then he's like, where are the directions? What directions, So he and Paul, we sat inside and kind of watched them most of the time. And then we kind of sat and watched like it was an audience. I just needed popcorn for the show because Paul and Stuart and Chico were all, like falling over each other like a slapstick to get this thing put together, which of course they eventually did. But I think Paul was a little bit shocked at himself that he was helping to build a greenhouse for his son to grow weed, to grow cannabis. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun that day. It was kind of crazy, but it was a lot of fun. And I'm so grateful now when I look at the path that Chico has taken and is taking in his life. He really got set up on this trajectory as a child, as a small child. And, you know, people say things all the time that they don't have any intention or ever doing. And he really is doing it.
Yeah.
His first crop was incredible.
Yeah.
He tended to him like they was children.
Yeah. So did I.
Yeah.
Yeah, they needed a lot of TLC, but it was a really successful crop, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He did really, really well.
Not bad for a 14-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You know, it's just survived cancer.
Can you stop now?
Gave him a focus.
Became quite an expert, really, in growing.
Knowing that I'm making my own medicine from it is really reassuring and it's a good feeling.
Yeah, and it's well, that's what he's doing now at university.
Yeah, I know, it's mad, isn't it?
What is he doing exactly?
He's doing cannabis chemistry and biology
Yeah.
at the University of Colorado, Pueblo. So he's learning all about the science of cannabis.
Brilliant.
And how to grow it, and then the applications. And he said to me the other day that he's interested in the research side, which was really exciting for me. I thought that he was more interested in the cultivation side.
Yeah.
But he's actually interested in research, and he's interested in working in a lab and
Wow.
looking at the medical applications of it, which I
Excellent.
think is really exciting because there are so many medical applications of it.
He'll do really well at it.
Yeah. How did you feel when we told you about giving him cannabis to help treat it?
Anything.
Oh, God,
Anything.
Yeah.
Give him anything that would
Yeah.
treat him.
Yeah.
Mm.
Bloody hell, I'll say, yeah.
Did you watch Weed the People?
Yeah, I did. And I've told 100 other people to watch Weed the People. I mean, when I watched that programme, you know, about the weed, and I seen him, I cried for a week.
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't stop crying. It's very hard to get hold
hard
of
to
it.
get hold of,
I mean,
yeah.
I think they do
Yeah.
prescribe it for people with multiple sclerosis
Yeah.
and Parkinson's disease.
But I mean, that is proof that how it works, isn't it? So what the hell are they waiting for now? It should be open to everybody now, shouldn't it?
Especially people with cancer.
Look at the way Derek
Yeah.
went. I was just so relieved when, you know, we got the
Yeah.
cannabis
Yeah.
all for Derek,
yeah.
and it was the only thing
Yeah.
that gave him any relief from the pain that he was in. But like I say, when you told me about Chico and his cancer, I just prayed
God,
it
yeah.
had gone, it'd give it me back.
So with hindsight, going back now, how do you feel about having gone through, like, you know, God gave you this huge trauma to live through, which was your son potentially dying of cancer. If you could go back in time and wipe that clean and make that not have happened, would you do that or not?
Yeah, I'd wipe it away.
Would you?
Yeah. Yeah, it was too much.
It was pretty bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
However,
intense.
I always said to him when he was sick, when you've got through this, we'll be really grateful for you having gone through it because
That's
of
true.
the experience. Because where would he be if he hadn't gone through that? He might be doing something completely different. Now he's got a life purpose.
Yeah. That's true. Hindsight's shit.
Yeah. I mean, I think, yeah, it was horrible and I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but I think because he's got through it and he's in a really good place now, I'm actually grateful
Yeah.
that was given as an experience because he got through it.
Well,
we all got
it
through
was an
it.
experience. I'd rather not have had it though.
No, it was horrible.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it's made all of us better people as a result of,
I'll agree with that. It
Going
certainly
through
made
that.
his life different,
yeah.
you know.
I mean, obviously the outcome was really positive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's just interesting to think about, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you could turn back the clock, what would you do? But we didn't have any control over it. None
No
whatsoever.
control whatsoever.
Well, we did. We had control over what we did alongside the medical treatment. We're back again. We're in Los Angeles. Your mum came last week, didn't she?
She did,
What
yeah.
was that like?
That was great. It was great to see her out of Manchester
Yeah, what did you
for the
do?
first time in 30 years.
Yeah, I took her to the Roosevelt Hotel.
Yeah, that's where we put her and my dad up back
Yeah.
in '89.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I recorded a bit of her going in, and she got all tearful. Did I send it to you?
Oh yeah, you
I think
sent
I
it to me.
did.
She got emotional, didn't
Yeah.
Well, look who's here. How'd you feel?
Good memories.
Yeah.
But they wasn't tears of sadness, they was tears of joy.
Well, but tinged with sadness because Derek wasn't there.
That's true.
I think that was the sad part, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that's true.
We'd only just got in the Roosevelt when we heard gunshots. Somebody up the road had fired a gun at somebody. And I'd never seen a fire engine as big as that. I was in awe of a fire engine. Half of it had gone down one street and the other half was still in the next street.
But I had a great time with her. She stayed with you for 10 days and stayed with me for 10 days near Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Took her somewhere different every day.
Yeah.
Took her to the hot springs to sort her arthritis out.
I think Paul knew something was wrong with him because he would not let up about me going. He was determined. And he said to me, "You have no excuse, I'm coming for you and I'm bringing you back." It was a wonderful experience.
Oh, you really enjoyed it,
Oh, I
didn't
did,
you?
yeah.
Did, yes, you
going
did, yeah.
somewhere every day and, you know, absolutely fascinated by the tracks in all the mountains that the Indians had made over
God,
the
yeah,
years.
yeah.
And when he showed me the casinos where they all, you know,
Well,
they on
they
the
built them,
Indian
didn't
land, you know, where everybody
Yeah.
went to gamble and what
Yeah.
have you. And then what? A few weeks later, he's no longer with us.
Yeah.
She cut her leg in big lots.
She
Had
got
to have
like
8 stitches.
Yeah. We shouldn't talk about that because there's a compensation claim going on.
Absolutely, quite right too. And then the British Airways messed your flight up, didn't they?
Oh God, yeah, that was a nightmare. Trying to just get in here was a nightmare.
Why? What happened?
Well, we didn't know you had to have a negative COVID test within 24 hours of travelling.
Yeah.
So we was at the airport with plenty of time. But don't forget, she can't walk very well, and they sent us to the train station at the airport where the testing site was. So it took us half an hour to walk there because the moving walkways wasn't working. And that's like the 4th time I've been there in a matter of months. Still not working at Manchester Airport.
And they wouldn't give her a wheelchair because she'd not checked in and she walked with a stick.
Yeah, and we couldn't check in because we hadn't had a negative COVID test. So we walked all the way over to the station and the place wasn't there anymore. They'd moved it to Terminal 2. So we had to walk from the station to Terminal 2 very, very slowly. If it was on my own, I would have done it. I would have made it.
Yeah.
But she's like 80 years old and walks with a stick.
Yeah.
So we ended up missing our flight by 15 minutes.
And what did BA do?
Absolutely nothing.
Really?
Didn't want to help us, couldn't be bothered.
And they made you pay for another flight?
Made us pay for another flight. But won't say too much about that because I'm constructing a letter to BA in my head as we speak.
So British Airways never did give Paul his money back for those 2 flights that they made him pay for after it was their fault that they missed the ones that he'd booked. So I think they should fly out the rock and roll mums to Los Angeles so they can have a trip here together and we can film their adventures visiting Hollywood. How hilarious would that be? Does anyone know anyone at BA that we can ask? Yeah, but she had a really good time.
She had a
didn't
really good... Once she got here, she had a great time. It was really good to see. I don't think she'll come again. I think it was all a bit too much for her.
The travelling part
all
of
the
it.
travelling, yeah.
You'll be coming again soon, won't you?
No, I think I've had enough, Angela. I couldn't go through all that travelling again. But I've no sense of direction. No way could I go in an airport. I finished up on the roof of Tesco stores in Truro.
See what I mean? They're
When
trying
I
to sell
went the
you.
wrong way.
We could go to LA and go on a cruise to America, because I've been to America on a cruise.
Yeah, but I can't swim. I don't like...
Well, even if you could swim, you'd have no bloody chance if to say we're going down, would you? You'd have,
No,
you
but I
couldn't
don't
bloody
like
swim
water.
anyhow.
I don't like water.
We'll try and get her to come on, but she's a bit shy, isn't she?
She was very shy, yeah. She has some great stories.
I know, sitting round the fire at night.
Mhm.
I learned a few things that I didn't know about you.
You did, did you?
I did. I learned a few things, yeah. So what kind of music are you listening to now?
Oh, wow. I'm probably about 2 or 3 years late on these people. But one of them's Mac Miller, who unfortunately is not with us anymore. I think he was like 21 when he died.
Oh, yeah.
One of them's Mac Miller. I think Mac Miller was a genius.
Yeah.
Genius. And the other one is Baxter Jury, Ian Jury's son.
Wow.
I've just recently got into him, and I think he's a genius as well. You've got to check him out on YouTube.
I will.
Yeah.
So, who would you like to collaborate with next?
Oh, Baxter Jury.
Really? Do you think you're going to do that?
I'd love to. It's whether he wants a bass line off me or not.
Yeah.
But I think one of my bass lines would really suit him.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're reaching out to him then?
It's in the process.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whatever
He doesn't know it yet, but it's in the process.
So if anyone has a connection to Baxter Drury, let him know Paul was a big fan and was hoping to work with him. And if he wants a bass line, we might be able to just dig one out for him. Whatever happened to Petula Clark? Remember you met her in Ireland?
Yeah, I wanted to write something for Petula. Don't know, she's still alive. I think she's still alive. Yeah, she's still I think she's still singing.
I think it's really cool when people from different eras get together and collaborate. That
Yeah.
makes some interesting.
Yeah, Pet Shop Boys did it with a couple, didn't they, from the 60s? A couple of artists.
Well, the Mondays did as well. You did a couple of songs with.
With
Carl
Denver. We did a song with Mr. Wimaway himself, Carl Denver.
How did that come about, the Carl Denver?
That came about because of the Bailey brothers that made our videos.
I was like a bit of a Carl Denver obsessive for some bizarre reason that I'd like rediscovered him, and I had an album by him which I really loved because it was just, I don't know, it was just, I don't know if it was nostalgia but he just had a dead unique style called Denver and some great songs. So one day in the evening news or somewhere we found out that he was living in Manchester and he was living in Reddish. So we got in touch with him and went for a pint with him in Reddish, and I was like, "You're just great." And he's going, "What do you guys do?" And we told him. So I had a really good chat on with him and got on great, but it was just like kind of meeting your hero kind of thing. It wasn't anything behind it. And then probably the next day we told Wilson, "Oh, guess what? We met Carl Denver. Do you remember him? Well, he's going, "What do you mean you met him?" And he's going, "Well, yeah, he does the cabaret around Manchester. He's playing." We were going to go and see him in North Manchester. Can't remember. It was like a supper joint. It was like literally, you know, with your ticket you got like scampi and chips or chicken in a basket or whatever. So Wilson go, "That sounds great. So we've all got to go." You know, it was like factory trip out. So I don't know how it became like the Mondays. I don't know how it became in his head, but he did take the Mondays and us to watch Carl Denver in this supper club. We were all, wow. And the next thing I really knew was, they were going to do a song with him, and Mike Pickering was going to remix Wim Away, and he was part of the factory team, and they were going to sign him and shit. So it happened quite quickly. And then, of course, they did Lazy Itis, which I thought was brilliant, because it was where they dragged that song from. And and that was quite fun, because we had them playing football in the high concept for that was we'd come up with a concept that they could maybe fit in with, which was in prison, in the rain, playing football. It's your only, it's going to be a lovely moment, it's your one bit of freedom. And so we had to get rain in Manchester, which isn't as easy as you think, because we obviously had to schedule it. So what we did was, this is again where we blew the budget. We got a pitch underneath the Mancunian Way in Hume and got a rain machine, a guy from down south who was a rainmaker, and he completely built above the five-a-side pitch. He built a rain machine. So we had Rain on tap and lit it, and it's like, you know, prison guards and all that. The funniest thing about that was because we said, just get all your mates down, we'll have a proper kick around and stuff. And we'd got the costumes were like original Strangeways prison uniforms. And I remember going in to like give them like their costumes, going, right lads, you just got to put these on. They were all horrified. You know, it was like I'd really overstepped the mark. They were like, I've got to put these on. You know, the last time I had one of these on, it was all like that. It was like, oh God. But yeah, they all joined in, and there's some good faces in that video. And Derek's in it, obviously Paul's dad's in it, and John.
They was writing a movie script called The Madfuckers, and Carl Denver was somehow involved in that.
Oh.
And they wanted us to do a song with him, so we chose Lazy Itis, and it was a really odd mixture.
Yeah.
But
It worked really well though, didn't it?
Yeah, it worked. It worked. It's a good song.
And other people you've collaborated with, Kirsty McCall.
Kirsty, yeah.
Talk about that.
Kirsty was on the first ever Top of the Pops appearance with the Mondays, with Hallelujah. She became involved because we got her husband, Steve Lillywhite, did a mix of Hallelujah and put Kirsty on it. So she ended up being on Top of the Pops with first ever appearance.
And what was she like?
She was great. I think she was pregnant at the time, but she was great. Her favourite thing to do was go in a BBC bar and buy a bottle of pink champagne to take home with her, because the BBC bar was regulated.
Yeah.
So all the drinks was like 50 pence or something.
Yeah.
Bottle of pink champagne was like £2. So that was her thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you remember chatting to her about anything in particular? Or were you starstruck?
No, I wasn't starstruck. It was my first ever Top of the Pops. I was just in awe of everything. You know, all I kept thinking throughout the day was, fuck, I'm going to be on Top of the Pops, which is what I wanted to be since I was probably 5 years, 6 years old. And what I've heard over the years was people saying, I watched that Top of the Pops, it changed my life.
Wow. Was it an era of live vocals or not?
I think it was all miming. I know Shaun did do live vocals on Top of the Pops a couple of times.
Yeah, and how did that go?
Great, yeah.
Really?
He had his piece of paper, the famous one where he had his piece of paper with his words wrote on it. Kind of looked cool, actually.
But you were, as musicians, you were all miming to the backing track, presumably.
Yeah, it was easy for us.
Yeah.
Have
you ever done a whole mime anywhere? Like even Shaun miming on any TV?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like versions of Top of the Pops in Europe, especially Spain and France. We did a few shows where we mimed.
You did TFI Friday, didn't you?
I don't think I've ever done TFI Friday.
When Shaun was interviewed on TFI Friday, when he famously swore and got banned.
He famously swore,
Did the Mondays not play on TFI Friday?
No.
Oh, so what was he doing on there then? Just a guest?
Probably just a guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you remember other TV? Did you do The Word?
We did The Word.
What was that like? That would have been all live, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, we had a nice PA system set up, that Oz PA set up for us in the studio. So it was like doing a real concert.
Can you remember who else was on The Word that night?
No.
No. Did you meet Terry?
I don't think I spoke to him that night, but I've met him on lots of occasions.
Well, you did his show, didn't you, on ITV?
Yes,
with
I
Big
did.
Arm.
Yes, we did. Something else I forgot about.
Gonna watch the show, got to watch the show. Here's the show, let's go.
That was good. We've talked about that before, though.
Yeah.
Well, you had 5 outfits and we recorded all the bits in one day and then just rotated them because we didn't have a
clever
decent
idea.
budget.
Was that you?
Yeah, of course it was. What other memorable TV shows have you done?
Ooh.
The Other Side of Midnight.
The Other Side of Midnight, that was our first TV.
That was such a good show, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was our first
The
ever
very
TV.
first TV was The Other Side of Midnight.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that was a prestigious one to pull off. That was when Tony was getting into us.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I remember around that time I was producing The Hitman and Her.
right.
And me and John Barrett,
Yeah.
who was my mate who I worked with on it, we were desperate to get the Mondays on The Hitman and Her.
Oh, wow. We would have
But
done it.
I know Pete Waterman didn't want it though. Pete
No.
Waterman was like, it was a step too far, I think, for him.
I think we would have
Would
been
you
a
have
bit...
done it? Wouldn't that have been brilliant though?
Yeah, because we all used to watch The Hitman and Her after the Hacienda.
Did you?
When it used to close at 2 o'clock,
Yeah.
and if we hadn't gone to a club, we'd get back to wherever we was going.
Yeah.
And The Hitman and Her would be on TV.
Yeah.
It was genius.
Yeah. We had to take that on before they
I
were
remember.
famous.
I remember that.
Pete wasn't happy about that though.
Oh.
Because they weren't his, were they?
Ah, right. There wasn't Pete
No.
Waterman.
But much
was it?
respect for Pete. Did love Pete. Do love Pete. It was
He
good.
wrote some good songs.
Yeah, genius.
Wrote some really good songs.
Okay, so we're back again.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Did you have a good week?
I've had a good week, yeah.
What have you done?
I bought a miniature bass guitar.
A miniature bass guitar.
Miniature bass guitar.
Why on earth
I
would
wanted
you-
one for a while, actually.
Why?
Well, it was only $150 to start
Right.
off with. And they're good for working out bass lines because the neck's smaller and you can get your fingers to different places quickly.
Is that so that you don't have to exercise your arm muscles as
Yeah.
much?
It's even easier to play.
Paul's best friend, Monday's drummer Gaz Whelan, remembers another time when Paul didn't want to exercise his arm muscles too much.
I don't think he's ever broke a sweat in his life, has he? I mean, I remember when we first used to go to the pub after rehearsals. I was 16 and Paul had been 18. And I just started smoking. Shaun smokes, Mark didn't. And I said to Paul, why don't you smoke? Is it because of your asthma? And he went, no, all that to and forth with the arm, it's way too much work.
I don't understand though. How could it be easier than what you've been playing for 40 odd years?
Because the neck is smaller and you don't have to move your hands as much.
When he was younger, I really looked up to him, you know. He was a couple of years older than me, I could relate to him, and I really looked up to him in lots of ways, you know. He was, I know this is hard to believe, but he was actually quite lively. he was, don't get me wrong, he was never swift of foot, you know what I mean? But he was quite lively and, you know, and talkative and quick and funny and he was my hero. He was, you know, I'm not just saying that, he was. And he, you know, he was funny, he was smart, I was well dressed. We got on with the same sense of humour, we loved music. He taught me about music.
What were the names that you had for him? That you've mentioned Omar Sharif.
Omar, Alf Roberts, Schnorbits. His best nickname wasn't even a name, it was a bass line. So we'd like, if we'd walk down the streets and we'd see like some like animated version of him, someone who's overweight, with dark hair, dark skin and a big nose, I'd just go ding, 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 ding. One of his early bass lines was ding, 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 ding. I think the song was called Weekend Starts Here or something. We started with the bass line, and Paul used to do it. So we'd hear or see something, and we'd just go ding, 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 ding. And even now, see, he's not alive anymore. You know, we'd be walking down the street and something had happened, and Paul would just go ding, 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 and putting my, you know how we put my voice on. He'd go ding, 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 and that was it. He had a nickname that wasn't even a name. It was a bass line.
All right.
You can get...
So you've been writing new material?
Always writing new material.
Ah, okay.
On the computer.
Well, we'll play some of it later, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that.
So who are you working with right now?
Just me. Just me on my own.
What, you're doing everything? The beats and the vocals and... Really?
Yeah.
You're singing again?
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that.
Oh, yeah.
And what kind of style would you describe it as?
More chill out groove stuff.
Right.
Yeah, very chilled out.
What, like Cafe Del Mar? kind of?
Yeah, with spoken word.
Okay. Can you give us a bit of a sneak preview into what kind of words you're speaking?
I can't remember any of them. No, I need them written down in front of me.
Do you do it like off the cuff or do you write it first?
Mixture of both.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we'll hear some. Can we play some of that later at the end of the
Yeah, of course
show?
you can.
Brilliant. Okay.
Mm.
Anything else you've been up to this week?
Just dreading this all week.
Why have you been dreading it?
Because it's Sunday morning, 10 o'clock. And you got me here to speak about my infidelity.
Yeah, that's true. It's been coming for a while, hasn't it, this? But we have to go there, don't we? Let's first of all talk about generally when you're in a band and you're surrounded by fans and presumably... I know you said you didn't really get groupies, but you did have a few. Like, is there sort of pressure on you to be unfaithful? Like, just tell me what your take is on infidelity overall.
Well, mine, particular one of them, was when I got clean. I think I turned to sex.
Right.
A bit of a sex addiction.
Well, that was the excuse that I used in order to be able to forgive you.
Oh. Well,
Let's wind back and explain.
I like that excuse.
No, it was. I think I came up with it and you latched onto it.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was when Chico was a babe. No, it was going on when I was pregnant with Chico, actually.
Oh,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I didn't find out about it until Chico had been born. You'd relapsed and you'd gone to Eric Clapton's rehab in Antigua.
That's right, yeah.
And I got a phone call from a guy out of the blue, and he said, "I'm really sorry to tell you this, but excuse me, I'm not crying. I've got a frog in my throat." He said, "But your husband's been having an affair with my girlfriend."
Oh my God.
And I was like, "What? He's in Antigua?" And then I remembered that because I used to always get the phone bills, and there was this number that you'd kept texting like an insane amount of time over the last few months, and I'd asked you who it was and you'd said it was a guy, and it was a guy I'd never met or never heard of, so I was a little bit weirded out by that. So then it all fell into place and I thought, oh wow, he's been having an affair. And I don't know how or why, but I called Rowetta, or somehow Rowetta found out, or I don't know how we communicated, and she's like, "I'm coming round with a bottle of whiskey." And so she came round that night and we stayed up all night drinking whiskey, and she was a really good friend to me around that time. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And so at that point I think Sonny was 2 and Chico was a baby. So I think a normal person would have probably broken up with you at that point.
I think so too.
Because you're in rehab for, I think it was crack that you'd gone, I can't remember, or maybe it was a mixture of several different substances, I don't know.
So, yeah.
But I decided to go to Antigua to go and participate in the family programme. Yeah, and then I think I rationalised it by saying, well, you hadn't got clean though because you were in rehab, so...
No,
but maybe when it started off, you'd been clean. Yeah. So in my mind, you'd put down drugs and alcohol, but picked up sex.
Picked up. And eventually back to drugs.
Yeah, and then went back to drugs. So so you were legged with 2 different addictions going on. So for good or for bad, we kind of got through that, didn't we?
Yeah, we got through.
How did you feel?
Awful.
Did you really? Did you feel guilt?
Yeah, I felt guilt and shame.
Or were you not just annoyed that you got caught?
And that as well.
I bet that was the main one.
No, the guilt and the shame was awful. Especially when I got clean in the rehab. Yeah, it was a good job I was in rehab.
Right, but isn't that the one where on the way to the airport you relapsed again?
No.
Or was that the second time you went there?
That was the second time.
Oh, that's another story then, I suppose. So I don't really remember. You came back, and then what happened after you got back? How did we get through that? Like that's a really big one to get over, isn't it? But yeah, it was a bit heavy.
I'm glad I was out of the way.
Well, you weren't. You were back then at that point. Yeah. Did you ever see her again?
No.
Really?
Never.
What, you just dumped her unceremoniously? Wasn't that a
More
bit
than
harsh?
likely.
Wasn't that a bit harsh?
Not really.
I think it probably was.
She had a boyfriend.
Right, yeah, okay. All right, so that was number 1.
Number 1.
That was number 1 that I knew about. And only kind of much later did I realise that there were probably loads of others that I didn't know about. Just having a drink.
No, there wasn't loads of others.
Were there not?
No,
really?
seriously.
I thought there were. So I found out about all of them.
Yeah.
Did I? Yeah, you would say that though, wouldn't you?
You did. You found out about everything.
Okay. So what do you remember about that period after you'd got back from Antigua?
Really, not much.
No.
I wasn't working, I know that.
No, you're in a bad place, really. I think you'd
Yeah.
lost the band, hadn't you? You'd left the band because you didn't want to relapse on drugs, but you'd relapsed on drugs anyway.
Yeah.
The band actually wasn't even operating as a fake Mondays, was it, at that point? And I don't know what... Was Shaun doing Black Grape at the... No, he wasn't.
No.
He was doing solo stuff, maybe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So that was a pretty bleak period for you,
Very bleak.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you slumped into lots of depressions and locked yourself away. The boys still remember you locking yourself away in that room, being smoking and being in a black mood.
Oh, in that back bedroom?
Yeah,
They remember that?
yeah, they do.
Oh, God.
We were talking about it the other day, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. So then Big Arm came about after that, didn't it?
Yeah.
And we've already talked about Big Arm, so we won't go into detail about that now.
No.
So
But
are we
we
going
can
to...
play a song, though.
Yeah, we can play... Should we play... Oh, let's play a song to lighten the mood a bit. Which is
Okay.
your favourite Big Arm track?
Ironically, Love Is.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to play it at the end of the episode, and we'll be reminding you that the Big Arm album Radiator releases on November the 19th, but you can pre-order it from November the 12th, so get yourself a copy. We're going to also be releasing a compilation of other tracks that Paul's done outside of the Mondays over the years, and that too will be out soon. Okay, so we were in LA. You were back in the Mondays. Everything was going really well. It was before Chico got sick, and my mum came to visit, and we realised that she was starting with dementia, Alzheimer's. Do you
Yeah.
remember that? And she
Oh,
came
yeah.
to stay with us for like 2 or 3 months. You were really good, actually, because you never once said, "Oh, I don't want to hear," and she was quite a handful. But you were actually really sweet to her, and she used to give you a really hard time. Do you remember her shouting at you in the kitchen?
Yeah, of course I do.
What did she say?
Wait, I know what you're doing. You're waiting for me to wash these pots. I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's really right in my face, though.
Yeah, I know. Because she had to wash the dishes or something. What?
She just took it upon herself to wash the dishes.
Yeah.
My timescale wasn't good enough for her.
Right. So it was a conspiracy.
Yeah.
But during that time, you said to me, "Oh, I've got you were doing DJ gigs.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me about some of the places you went to."
Oh, God. Colorado, Texas, Dallas.
How, was there a fan base of people that came to see Paul Ryder playing records in these far-flung towns?
The people was already in the club because it was that type of club, indie music type
Right.
club. So the clubs was always full because it was that particular night.
But did you get people asking for autographs and things like that, or was
A
it?
few times, yeah.
Yeah.
We had one of the biggest club nights in the country of our kind, and we had Mike and Andy come through from the Smiths. We had Hookie out. We had, Tim Burgess out on a few occasions. We had Manny out. I mean, we had all of these
Amazing.
people who we considered just to be legends, to be gods. It was like entering Mount Olympus, to interact with the people that we'd interacted with. And when Paul came out, and I just kind of reflected on it, and I said, what more could this night possibly give me? And especially for a place like Colorado, it was very unheard of. It wasn't New York, it wasn't LA. So to be able to bring through some of these people who had never even performed here or hadn't performed here in 20 years, it was significant, I think, definitely for us as human beings, but also I think for the crowd and the city and really building up the night.
Right.
And it was a really special thing too. I remember Hookie coming out and being disappointed that he was up in a DJ booth and wanting things to be on the floor so he could actually interact with some fans. So I hope it was something that, people like Paul found rewarding as well, as to be able to interact with the people who've, been following time. And there were some people buzzing because he was in there. you know, you do have people like me who we came up on all of this stuff. We still love it. I have a great photograph of one of my friends, Greg, just giving Paul a big old kiss on the cheek. You know, I mean, it was significant.
Did you enjoy it? Did you kind of get off on the celebrity aspect of it?
I enjoyed picking the records.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy putting them on and mixing and all that.
Why not?
Just not my bag.
Did you actually have to mix them, or did you pre-do it on a computer? How did that work?
This is the days before you could do it on computer.
Oh, okay.
Before Beat Match and all that.
Right.
So I did it manually.
Yeah. Did you get nervous before you were doing your DJ sets?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, what happens if you put a song on and the fucking crowd just disappears?
You
It's
put
like
on
you
another one then, don't you?
kind of failure.
And what sort of music were you playing?
Indie music.
Like what? Name some of the tracks that you liked.
Manchester stuff, a lot of Manchester stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of New Order, ACR.
Yeah.
And whatever was going around at the time.
If you had to pick one Manchester track that would be your go-to, what's your kind of favourite seminal Manchester track?
Ooh. It would probably be a New Order song.
Yeah.
And probably Ceremony.
Ceremony, you said that before, yeah.
Yeah.
We saw New Order here a few years ago, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
He's still friends with Bernard. He used to have a shop up the road from, or his wife used to have a shop up the road from your mum, didn't she?
Yeah, his first wife.
Yeah.
Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've not spoke to him for many years.
No.
No.
Anyway, so let's go back. So you said to me, I've got a DJ gig in Portland, but I need to go like 5 days before the gig.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, this is what you're talking about. Okay. Well, let me prepare for this.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Go on.
So my mum was staying with us and she was starting with Alzheimer's. So like things were a bit rough really, weren't they?
Yeah.
You weren't really working other than doing the odd DJ gig here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of struggling to make it work in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one night, we'd booked these flights for you to go to Portland, and you're meant to be staying with your old tour manager who lived there.
Yeah.
And I saw this message on your Facebook saying, I can't remember what it said now, something like, "Oh, I love you, darling, and can't wait to see you in Portland."
Oh.
And it was the night before you were going.
Oh,
So like
goodness.
before you were going, I knew that you were going to meet somebody, but you still barefaced denied it. I don't know how you got away with denying it.
I must have been a good liar.
No, you were. Well, actually, no, you probably were a good liar, but I think I became kind of good at knowing when you were lying.
Mm-hmm.
So you went to go and meet this girl in Portland. What happened?
I went to go and meet her.
Yeah. And how was it? Because it was like 5 days.
Yeah.
And you knew that I knew because I was phoning you incessantly the whole time.
Yeah. It was awful.
I'm glad I ruined
Completely
it for
ruined
you.
by you. Completely ruined. It was awful.
What were you feeling?
I don't know what I was feeling. I was on too much prescribed medication.
Well, that was one of the problems, wasn't it? Because when you got clean, you were put on, I think, 7 different psychiatric meds that all were kind of interacting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I never kind of felt that you really were clean because you were still being medicated, and those medications were kind of abusable as well. So you were knocking yourself out a lot with those.
Yeah.
No excuse for infidelity, obviously. So you came back from there. Do you remember coming back? Do you remember how you felt on the plane coming home?
I really don't know. I've no idea. I had no feelings at that time. I was highly medicated.
So you were just kind of numb to everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was in a different reality.
Yeah.
But I thought it was okay because it was prescribed.
Right.
You know. But
How
there
did
was
you...
strong. There was strong medication.
How did you justify going off to meet a girl?
I didn't justify it. I just did it.
Yeah, because my mum was still staying with us when you came back, so I couldn't even have a proper argument with you because my mum was there.
Oh, lucky for me.
And then she sent me a really nasty text. You sent her a text saying, sorry, I can't see you again, it's all over. And then she sent me a text saying, you evil cow.
Oh.
I know that was you. He would never have sent me a text like that.
Oh.
Do you remember?
No.
I was fuming. Anyway, so we got through that, didn't we? We went to counselling, which was probably a waste of time.
Yeah.
But we got through that just because how did we get through that?
I don't know, forgiveness on your behalf.
Oh, stupidity.
No, forgiveness.
I don't know how
You're
you
a
get
forgiving
through.
person.
Yeah, but or desperate to just keep my family together because we had 2 kids and I didn't want my boys to grow up in a broken home.
True.
But really, I should have left at that point, shouldn't I? Mm-hmm. But also, when you're set in a fixed life with somebody, it's very difficult to just break up. When you're a family and you've got a house and you've got a life, like making that decision to break up is a massive decision, and it requires a huge amount of effort.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times it's easy just to forgive and try and move on because it's a kind of the lazy way out, I guess.
Okay.
Or the way out that doesn't make you challenge yourself. It's like the easy route. But I think I did it because I didn't want my marriage to break up. We got through that, and I don't know how we got through that, but we did. And then very soon after that was when Chico got ill. So any kind of marital issues were like completely irrelevant at that point. Like that was just all put on the back burner because it was all about Chico all about getting Chico better.
And rightly so.
Yeah. In fact, we probably stayed together longer than we would have done because Chico got sick. We're still on the subject of infidelity. How do you feel talking about this?
Awful. It's not one of my favourite subjects.
So you two both had very, very successful marriages, didn't you? Both of you. How many years did you clock up together?
Well, we'd have been married 62 years this year, and Derek's been dead 5 years coming. 4 years now, but 5 years at Christmas.
So you did 57 years, and what did you do, Sandra?
We did 62, but I was only 15 when we met. Yeah.
Well, I was only 16 when me and Derek met.
Yeah.
So, what's both of you answer this, what's the secret to a happy, successful marriage, would you say?
I think
Give and take.
Yeah, exactly.
And
got to
backing one another up.
Yeah.
Even if you don't agree with it. Especially with kids.
Yeah.
Backing one another
because
up.
everybody falls out. And,
Of course
but
they
you've got
do.
to me, haven't you? And you've got children to consider. Yeah.
I mean, the number of times I felt like leaving Derek, and I've told him, was unbelievable. And he said, well, why didn't you leave me?
Yeah.
And I said to him, because I knew he'd only go and bring me back.
Yeah, I mean, but...
And he used to say, you're right, big head aren't you?
No.
No, but it's interesting, isn't it? It's something that a lot of people can relate to. It's hardly, you're hardly the only person.
Mm-hmm. It's good now it's all over and done with and it's all behind us.
I just think it's really, really brilliant that we can sit here and laugh about it, really, or really talk about it openly and honestly.
Yeah. I'm just glad it's all over with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't the healthiest man on the planet, Paul, so I always expected to get a phone call saying he's had a heart attack or something, or he's keeled over, and I kind of half expected that sometime. But when it came, it just seems weird. It's like, it just doesn't seem, it just seems weird.
Do you feel that Shaun it's affected Shaun much?
I don't see much of Shaun, so it's hard to say. And it's that, I don't really see him, so I really don't know.
When you did the first gig after Paul had died, was Shaun any different? Did he say anything? Did he pay tribute in any way?
I mean, he did pay tribute, but I can't remember what he said. But I know Rowetta did. I know I've noticed, I don't really spend time with Shaun, so I don't know, but I spend time with Rowetta, and Rowetta's, I can say it's affected her. We all used to kind of keep our own little bubbles travelling, and it's kind of brought us together, bizarrely enough. I don't know why, but we're a bit more, we're more tolerant with each other. You know, even more so. It's definitely had an effect. It's definitely had an effect. So I've noticed it on Rowetta and Mark. I don't know if they've noticed it with me. In music, especially Paul, you know, they taught me how to be very, I don't want to use the word cool because that's wrong, but how to underplay things, how to downplay things. Don't oversell yourself. Don't do the big thing. I'm the greatest. I'm the best. Or don't do the obvious. Don't say the obvious. You know, don't play the game so obviously. You know what I mean? And he was really good at that. And it's hard to do these days. You know, it's Paul on my shoulder all the time. You know, don't make a dick of yourself. Don't, you know, because I would. You know, and don't. You know, keep it real. And there was something recent where I throw something in live, something weird on the drums, and straight away I look round to me right, and I just get that glance off him. You know, he'd just be a look, and I knew the look would be, or it'd be like, you know, if he didn't, you know, and he was just automatic, and I still do it now. I look to me right all the time, you know, because he was, you know, he was the guy who taught me everything, and I'm not just saying it's the truth. Taught me everything musically. He really did. We had exactly the same sense of humour, exactly the same. But me and Paul straight away, and he remembered, and maybe because me and Paul's only 2 years older than me, so maybe we had Mark and Shaun are 5 years older, so maybe there was that. And I thought it's really weird. Maybe like my mum and Linda, we just clicked. We you know, we had our ups and downs like all married couples do. You know, we fell out but I think in all the years, I think we only had 2 arguments, and they were nothing. It was just me being neurotic, or we just did. I don't know. It's just a really weird. It was a really weird double act. Double act. We were like Derek and Barry. We could read each other's minds. It was really weird. Really, really weird. You know, we'd be walking down the street and someone had walked down and it'd look like, and we'd just look at each other, and then we'd just say, you know, that's, you know, whoever, you know, and then look, there's someone, you know, we just, both of us would say it. You look at each other and go, it'd be hilarious, you know, we were in Rill. And we ended up in this, we used to all go for weekends, this club, and there was just some bad cabaret on. And this comedian come on with a weird looking face, really weird looking and dressed. And I looked at Paul and he went, fucking hell, it's Humphrey Cushion. And no one knew who Humphrey Cushion was. And I just couldn't get my breath for about half an hour. And he looked like Humphrey Cushion. And I remember going, that's just the funniest thing I've ever heard in my it was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Coming up on the show next week.
The window was open and I crept up behind you and grabbed the phone off you.
I don't remember
and saw this text thread conversation with you and this woman.
Oh.
It was obviously there was something going on between you, so I called her.
We met Ronnie Biggs, great show. Well, it's nice to meet somebody who plays such a, you know, an historical moment in British history. And yeah, we met Piers Morgan, who actually said I spiked his burger.
So it was like me and you and your new partner and her ex-husband
yeah.
and their kids all around the Christmas dinner table.
Yeah.
Which was actually really cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a really good day.
Yeah.
People still talk about that Christmas dinner.
Before drugs and everything, I was more of a beer monster, and they disappeared, and I wondered why they're coming back happy. What they're doing? Oh, smoking weed, weren't they? Didn't tell me about it.
The other project that you're doing in collaboration with Gaz is a movie.
It's the movie.
The movie.
So it's about a Manchester band who existed 25 years ago, and they're offered this great chance to get back together.
Right.
But with a unsavoury type manager.
Last time I played with him, he wasn't ill. You know, he was happy. You know, he didn't even But the thing with the fire and stuff, he just was like, you know, he wasn't bitter about anything, you know, he seems to be fine. Happy with his kids, happy with everything now, and grandchildren. So, in a way, that's all, because you've got to look at the good things.
Paul talked about how significant it was that suddenly MTV were taking the band seriously. Do you remember that being a thing?
No.
Well, we wondered.
Hello and welcome. This is episode 20 and the grand finale of the main series of the Paul Ryder Tapes. First, we're going to go back in time to a story that's so iconic that we saved it for the last episode in this run. I'm just going to say 3 words. Brazil, February 1991. We're going back in time here, but we never talked about Brazil. The Ronnie Biggs.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, we played this festival in Brazil, Rock in Rio.
For me, that was the Mondays at the maddest, you know what I mean? We had such a great time, played in front of them. And because we was in the hotel with Guns N' Roses, and all it's actually caused fucking chaos. Like, you won't believe how fucking mad we was, you know what I mean? Like, there's no words could describe it. And we was actually put in a hotel with Guns N' Roses away from all the other acts, because we were deemed as the 2 mad rock and roll bands. And Guns N' Roses were quite, no, they're rock and roll, but in like a proper rock and roll American way, you know what I mean? They look like your fucking typical rock stars, where we look like just a bunch of fucking, like, you know, some knobheads from somewhere, you know what I mean?
What's the most memorable gig that you've played? Like, is there one that sticks in your mind as being particularly mind-blowing for you?
I was probably, it'd probably have to be in Brazil, because we were put on last because of some technical error, because there was a thunderstorm. And I think, you know, you got Guns N' Roses, you got Wham, and you got Piers Morgan on the plane, and he was watching us, and we did this gig, and then it pissed down, didn't it? Typical Manchester weather, and there was 150,000 people in the pissing rain, and then they all started leaving, and all of a sudden, they all started coming back, and it was, they were getting into it. It was like, at first, they didn't, oh, who's this lot? Never heard of him before. They start leaving, then they started coming back because they saw what was going on, and it was a real fantastic gig.
Did you interact with Guns N' Roses?
We said hello to him. I've actually said hello quite a few times to him in over the years. Yeah. But we didn't really hang out in any sort of way. I don't think we was cool enough for him.
Or maybe they weren't cool enough for you.
Yeah.
And we got invited up to Ronnie Biggs' house with Piers Morgan, who was working for The Sun at the time.
We did, yeah, we met Ronnie Biggs, great show. Well, it was nice to meet somebody who plays such a, an historical moment in British history.
Paul's friend Dave was struck by how nonchalantly Paul had mentioned this escapade to him a short time after.
He said we went up there and we just went to meet him and sit by his pool, and he just ended up staying there for ages. And then he went on to the next bit of conversation about how he likes Holt's beer and everything. Well, this was it. You didn't know whether he was going to talk about loving fried eggs, needing to go and get some money for some cigarettes, or sitting by a swimming pool with Ronnie Biggs, or having a laugh with Roy Wood. And I think that was the sort of enduring memory about Paul is that it was just this kaleidoscope of seemingly random, but all, I've no doubt, all dead true.
It was great meeting Ronnie Biggs. And he also said, you're the best band that has ever visited, because a lot of people go and see him, or went to see him, and he enjoyed our company.
Did he?
So we got on really well with him, yeah.
What did he talk about?
His poetry, his escape, his escape from prison, his life in Brazil. He was really open and like quite good to talk to.
Do you stay in touch with him afterwards?
No, I think Muzza did, who was our tour manager at the time. Stayed in touch with Mikey, his son, who was a child pop star in Brazil.
Really?
He had lots of gold and platinum discs all over his walls.
Tell me about Rio.
Rio was just wild. We went, fucking hell, I have to tip, okay, so when we get to Rio, I fucking know where to start with this one.
Piers Morgan did the bizarre column at the time in the Sun. So the Sun took us over. It was saying, even though we were going over for Rock in Rio, he took us to Ronnie Biggs' house for the day, and it was brilliant. I sat with Ronnie Biggs' son for a long time. He was only 16. But yeah, no, we had the best time rocking Rio because the guitars didn't turn up on time, so we ended up getting an extra couple of days. But yeah, it was a day out with Ronnie Biggs at Ronnie Biggs' house. It was fantastic. And yeah, Bez was making the burgers, is what Piers Morgan says, and spiked him. That's what Piers Morgan says. He was dancing like a hippie something for hours, 8 hours.
What, he thinks Bez spiked him?
He said, I don't know what Bez put in those burgers, but I was dancing like a something for 8 hours. Yeah, yeah. I don't remember Bez being in charge of any burgers. I don't think anybody was hungry.
Piers Morgan, yeah. I actually said I spiked his burger, but I never did, you know what I mean? But I did smoke sniff an ounce of coke on the plane next to him on the way home, and he pretended to be asleep all the way, and I was under a blanket like that, me and Paul Davies. Yeah, but I suppose that's a story you shouldn't be telling, really.
No, £5 a gram though. The coke was. It was very strong, so we were all struggling to get it down us.
There's an infamous story in Brazil about some ladies of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell us that story? The truth.
The truth. That one's actually true.
Rio was just wild. Shaun's got this bird and got this little groupie bird, and so we're all that was everyone's doing it. Bez is after his nut. We're all after nut, but I don't take coke then. But everyone's on it, so we goes to this club called Out with Rowetta. It's 20 odd of us. They've got 18 prostitutes come back. Everyone's supposed to Gaz and Mark Day. They was just like invisible because there was just so much going on. They were so quiet. Go to the room and lock the room door where there's fucking chaos. Telly's over the balcony. I'm fighting with Guns N' Roses because he's Nick Shaun's bird. Axl Rose. I've had to put it on him. He says something to me, and Shaun's going, "Yeah, he'll batter you." So I said to me, "You'll fucking batter me." I'm going, "We fucking know." I'm walking around. I'm with Ronnie Biggs, the old train robber who's my idol. He's in my room, snorting his brains off, and I'm thinking. So we go back to the club called Out. Rowetta's getting threatened because there's 2,000 prostitutes in there, and they think Rowetta's stepping on the toes. So these want to batter Rowetta, Shaun saying, yeah, bog it, nah. But these girls, fucking gorgeous, and even I'm when they're kissing you and they're touching you, and you've never had anything like it. It's like a 10-handed massage. Your hands are down your pants, and getting strokes and looking and saying they love me. I'm thinking, fucking hell, she loves me. And fucking she's a prostitute. I'm going, fucking hell.
It was swarming with them at our hotel. Slash was in the pool. Bez had to get $50 off me to get rid of his because she wouldn't leave. The day after, he said, "I'll buy you a handbag." I was like, "I don't want a handbag." He's like, "You had to try and get rid of his." He was with us. He lost a condom up his, and he said he rang me from his room phone and went, "If you find it and put it back on." But no, it doesn't work like that. If you find it and put it back on, it's too late. You definitely get yourself tested for everything.
The only Derek, Mark Day, and Gaz didn't take a bird back. All the crew, every one of us. Paul's got 2, Shaun's got 2, Bez has got 4.
People had paid this girl who was a lady of the night, and she ended up in my room falling asleep. So I took the money back out of her purse. I don't think it was a good idea because we could have got thrown in jail actually. Really? For robbing her. It was a robbery. We ended up giving it her back in the morning because it was like, shit, shouldn't have done that. She'll go to the police.
Anyway, in the morning, I've gone to get them up. Shaun, they want them paying. Manager shouted me down at the police today. It's quite heavy. So I've got to pay these prostitutes and the police today. So I paid the police and whatever. And these prostitutes, they can't even stand up, but the skirts are hanging off, the bras are not on. The hotel manager's going mad to try and get them out to dress them up. So I paid them all, gone upstairs. I said, what the fuck's going on? And they just saw something, they was laughing like this. And then on the way back on the plane, all the crew was at the back. Me and Shaun was in first class because Piers Morgan was doing an interview with Shaun. And they had blankets at the back. Because on them days, we could smoke weed and everything. Oh, we did smoke weed. Not that you could, but we just fucking, on the planes in the air, we smoking, snorting. So what's the back of the plane? And there was just blankets like tents. And all you could hear was everyone snorting. And there was wired. We got off hands. There was all police waiting for us. They've opened the door. There's just a line of police. I'm thinking, oh, fuck. Everyone's getting nicked. They've gone, you over there to me and Shaun, you over there. They snorted from Rio to London. And then when we get there, so we've got half an hour left, they're having bigger lines. But there's a blanket of fucking, they put the blankets all over the, they've made tents. Now, and underneath, everyone's just having lines and smoking weed. They went, we believe they've been taking cocaine. I said, mate, it's all gone. And they've gone, what? I said, it's fucking finished. They ain't smuggling now. We don't smuggle, we just fucking take it.
But yeah, it was true.
Wow. Okay, rock and roll.
I was at his house one time and he said, just a minute, he's on the phone and everything. He said, yeah. All right then. And put the phone down. I said, who was that? And he goes, oh, it's Robbie Williams. And he did just in passing, you know, and whereas any one of these little things to people who are not in that world seemed like a big deal. But they were, I don't know, I think so many people liked Paul because he was just nice. You know what I mean? Just nice. And I think, you know more than anyone, you know, it's nice.
So we left off the last episode as Paul was saying that he was glad that his cheating days were over.
All that sneaking around is not good for your soul.
No. What do you think motivates people?
To do it?
Yeah.
A variety of different reasons. Like I said, mine was sex addiction. All that sneaking around. It's like getting a high off it.
You actually enjoy getting away with it?
I must do, yeah.
Yeah. I remember you got very accusatory of me.
Oh.
Like I'd come back late from something. You've been with another man.
I think that's normal when somebody's cheating.
Yeah, they project it onto the partner, don't
yeah.
they? But then you could also argue that infidelity is... There's a reason for it. Like if you're really happy in your relationship, then it surely doesn't cross your mind, does it?
Not with this relationship I'm in now. It's never crossed my mind.
Right. Exactly. That's my point. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not necessarily just one person's fault. Like that it comes as a result of something being wrong in the relationship, and that's about two people and what two people are bringing to the table. I'm trying to give you a bit of a break here.
I know.
No, but obviously there was something wrong.
The thing that was wrong was me with the addiction. I couldn't get clean and stay clean.
Right.
That was the big thing.
Yeah.
And I was beating myself up every time I relapsed.
Right.
Which doesn't leave me in a good headspace. Hence, 3 years in the back bedroom.
Right.
Depressed as hell.
Right. So then you see, like, another woman, something else to think about. Is it like a distraction?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to give you excuses here at all, but I'm just trying to look at it from your point of view, from your side of the table.
Just to change the way you feel.
Yeah.
It's like a drug. You do it to change the way you feel.
Yeah. Does it work though?
For a minute.
Yeah.
Like shopping works for a minute.
Right.
I went through my shopping addiction phase, didn't I?
You did. Talk about that.
Love shopping. Still love shopping now. But I don't have to buy everything I see.
Right.
That's the difference these days. I know I don't have to buy stuff. But
Right.
I do enjoy looking round at clothes in clothes stores.
Yeah, but you don't look around and not buy anything.
I have done.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been known.
If they've not got your size.
No, I've put stuff back that I would have bought in the past. I would have bought.
Yeah.
Just to buy.
Yeah.
Paul's love of shopping, particularly for clothes, seems to have come from his dad's side of the family.
Derek's mother worked at Truly Fair, where they made all these children's clothes for Lewis's and Kendall's and abroad.
Yeah.
And she used to buy them the most beautiful things. But the winter she bought them tights. I really to keep the little leggies warm under the pants.
But that's a bit of a problem,
And
isn't it?
well, Paul looked like a girl. He really did. Nobody knew he was a boy.
Yeah, I can see that Paul.
Nobody knew he was a boy.
Yeah.
He looked like a girl. Well, the clothes she bought Shaun was all right. But she used to buy these little winter suits for Paul with little swans down fur around him.
She wanted a girl, didn't she?
All the clothes she bought him was all girly clothes.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put them in him unless she was coming.
And by all accounts, his dad, Derek, was a snappy dresser back in the day.
Oh, when I first went out with him, oh my God, my mother said, oh, he's very nice, but you can do better than that. Why doesn't he get a nice haircut? Why doesn't he wear a nice suit? And I said, well, he is a nice boy, Mum, he's just different. And I always said I wanted somebody different. I didn't want the run of the mill. And my goodness, did I get somebody different and children that were different.
And one of Paul's shopping partners was Rowetta.
He was addicted to shopping for jackets and shoes, especially because we used to go to a place called Brunswick where shoes were half price, and there was one near me and there was one in Regent Road, and nobody really knew about it, and we'd spend hundreds of pounds on millions of shoes because sometimes they were £8 for a pair of shoes, and he liked his Converse, and we had a horse that used to love his coats, didn't he, his leathers and stuff. And a lot of them, they just look the same, but he'd go and buy them again and again and again.
So the last affair, I mean, it's kind of funny when we look back on the last one.
Mm-hmm.
So it was...
It was like an Ealing comedy at the end.
It was. There were 3 occasions where I caught you, and the third occasion was the end of the marriage. But the first occasion was you'd gone out to a meeting and you came back and you were sitting in the car on your phone.
Mm.
And and the window was open, and I crept up behind you and grabbed the phone off you.
I don't remember
and saw this text thread, conversation with you and this woman.
Oh.
That was obviously there was something going on between you, so I called her.
Oh.
Do you not remember this?
No.
I remember where I was in the house, and I had a conversation with her, and she was really rude to me on the phone. I was like, why are you texting my husband and saying that you can't wait to see him tomorrow?
Oh.
And I was like, what? There's nothing going on, we're just friends. She was very posh. We're just friends, there's nothing going on. And I was like, you know when you get mad and all the moisture from your mouth vanishes? I was fuming, and I was like, you keep away from my... It was like a proper, like, fishwife type conversation. But she wasn't nice. I didn't like the sound of this woman at all. And of course, you completely denied there was anything going on. So that was at incident number 1. So I knew my antenna were then up. And they must have been up in the first place for me to grab the phone off you in the car.
Yeah.
And then you didn't know that if I had your Apple ID and password that I could track you with Find My iPhone. So one day, a couple of weeks later, you said you weren't going to see her anymore and you weren't even going to be friends with her anymore. And then you said you were somewhere, and I checked Find My iPhone and you weren't where you said you were. You were actually...
I dropped the ball on that one, didn't I?
You absolutely dropped the ball. And you were in a car park in Malibu outside a supermarket. So, of course, I drive down to you, and you're in the car with this woman, and I went storming up and caught you in the car. You were just sitting in the car talking, but the fishwife in me came out. And again, my mouth was completely dry, and I was hoarse. And I was shouting at this woman in this car park, and a crowd gathered.
Really?
And all the interesting thing was, all of my anger was directed towards her and not you. Like, why wasn't I shouting at you? I was shouting at her, and it was because she'd been rude to me on the phone earlier and said there was nothing going on.
You need therapy over this.
I think I've dealt with it.
Oh,
I think,
okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty good about it, aren't I?
Yeah.
I can laugh about it. And then I don't know how it didn't resolve. You came home and still professed that there was nothing going on, and then a couple of weeks after that, again, find my iPhone. You said you were in one place, but you weren't. You were in Malibu.
So I drove my car to where he was in Malibu on the Pacific Coast Highway. And I'm going to pause the conversation there and play a chunk of that other podcast that I did that I mentioned earlier that was actually the inspiration for this one. You see, after I split with Paul, I went on all kinds of outlandish dates. And I decided to do a podcast about dating in your 50s. And as I talked about our marriage breakup, I decided that I should really play Paul that episode. And it was him listening to that episode that led to the idea of us doing this podcast. So anyway, here's a clip from the other podcast. It's called Accidentally MILF. And this is the dramatic reconstruction of our marriage breakup car chase. Okay, so the adventures began a few years ago on a balmy April night in Malibu. I was suspicious that my husband was having an affair, but he kept denying it. And on one particular Saturday night, he told me he was in one place, but the Find My iPhone app told me differently. So, of course, I drove to find him and see for myself exactly what was going on. I caught up with him in our car, which was pulled into a gas station in Malibu, mid-clinch, with his horrible mistress, who I love to call Leatherlips. Come on, I'm allowed one little catty dig, aren't I? She was having an affair with my husband after all. Come on, give me a bit of a break here. Okay, so he spotted me, and him and Leatherlips took off down the Pacific Coast Highway, and I sped after them in my battered old PT Cruiser. The Pacific Ocean was on the right, the sun was setting. It was like a perfect picture postcard backdrop to be having a marriage breakup car chase. I honestly felt like I was in an episode of something like Starsky and Hutch. I knew it was dangerous, please don't copy me, but my adrenaline took over. Like, my heart was absolutely pounding in my chest. I was absolutely fuming and my mouth was completely dry. I've no idea why, but eventually, after probably, I don't know, a couple of minutes of racing down that street, they finally gave up and pulled in. And I jumped out of my car. Do you know what? My heart is pounding as I'm actually telling you this. So I jumped out of the car, and other cars and trucks were speeding past me. It was really lucky that I didn't get knocked down, and I honestly felt like time had stood still, and all of my movements and words were out of body, like I was being controlled by somebody else up above. Like I really didn't feel I had any kind of control over what was to happen next. So that's from the podcast Accidentally MILF, Online Dating Adventures After 50, which was the podcast that inspired this one. So please go and check it out on all the usual podcast platforms.
Yeah, I remember the car chase.
It was like a movie. It was like the opening scene of a movie. Yeah. Chasing down the PCH. And I don't know why, but eventually you pulled in. What made you pull in? Why did you stop? Why didn't you just carry on driving?
There was no point, was there?
You're like, fair cop, gov.
Yeah.
And then I got out of my car. Why didn't you take off when I got out of my car? You'd have had a head start. You could have got away.
Tired of running.
Did you want to be caught?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. No, that's horrible. No, I didn't want to be caught.
But you just accepted that you had been caught?
Yeah.
And I said roll down the window, and you did. Like, why did you do that?
I've not really
analysed
this.
And I said to you, right, make a choice, her or me. And you said, do you remember what you said?
Mm-mm.
I just want to be on my own.
Mm.
And I said, oh, I'll help you pack.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Dramatic ending.
Yeah, and then I drove home. And then you appeared back home. I couldn't believe you actually came back. And then the next morning, I helped you pack your stuff.
Mm.
And you left.
Oh, left.
And Vlad was there, my mate Vlad, who was staying with us at the time, had a ringside seat. And then
I think you was glad to get rid of me, actually.
You know, it took me about 2 weeks. I was devastated for about 2 weeks, and then one morning I woke up and I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about him anymore. Mm. And I felt a huge weight had lifted off my shoulders. Good. Yeah. I really did. I was really kind of elated that I didn't have to deal with all that crap anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the best thing about it was that eventually you did break up with this woman.
Yeah.
And I think if you'd still been with this woman, I don't think I would have been able to be friends with you.
That's likewise.
No, but it's true. So we spent about a year fighting, really, over... You kept coming back to the house and demanding paintings that were yours, and we had a tug of love of some... Who did the paintings?
Henry Hill.
Henry Hill paintings, that's right. Mm-hmm. So I think we decided to split them, and you took some and I took some.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember arguing about anything else, do you?
No, I just wanted me Henry Hill paintings.
Yeah. Oh, and I sold you jukebox.
And my Space Invader machine, it was worth about £2,000.
There was no room for it though in the new house, because I had to. I was given notice from the house that we were living in.
Actually, where's the little green motorbike?
It's in the garage. Oh no, it's down the side of the house. It's mine, that. But we sold the other well, we didn't have any money either. Like, we were really struggling because since Chico had been sick, I hadn't worked.
Yeah.
So, like, finances were really tight. And I think that was one of the reasons that you were pushed over the edge, because, like, financially things were really, really dire at that. And I think that woman had quite a lot of money, didn't she? She had to have had something.
I don't know.
Yeah, she did. You know she did. Anyway, so then... so we had about a year where we didn't really get on very well. And then we started talking again, and you had broken up with her, and you had to move out of where you were staying. So you'd become friends with Andy Dick through various meetings that you used to go to. Tell me about him and your friendship with him.
I met him at one of them self-help groups.
Yeah.
Over our common love for Converse, the shoe.
Okay.
I had lots of pairs, different colours, and so did he. And just became mates with him. And we was mates for like two and a half. I'm still mates now.
Yeah. I remember the day we broke up, you went to stay with him in his halfway house where he was staying.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
In Malibu.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put me up.
Yeah. For people in England that don't know much about Andy Dick, just tell us who he is.
He's an actor, comedian, improv. He does a lot of improv. He's been in quite a few movies.
Yeah.
He's been in The Simpsons.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say if he hadn't got the issues that he has with alcohol, he would be a huge superstar at this point.
Yeah.
Because he is a comedy genius, isn't
Yeah,
he?
very much
really
so.
Clever, really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, but if he hadn't continued with his problems, then he would have been up there again, like he was when he was 25.
Yeah. And he had bouts with sobriety, because that's when you met him, when he was sober.
Yeah.
And one day you said to me, Andy wants to meet you because you're a producer and he wants to do stuff. So you said, come, I'm staying with him. When you'd broken up with that woman, you went to stay with Andy, who was then staying with his then wife, but they weren't actually together, but they were still friends.
Yeah.
So he was living in a house with her and her kids, and you were sleeping on the sofa there because you'd not got anywhere else to go.
That's right.
And you invited me round to the house to meet Andy to talk about what projects maybe we'd want to do together. And it was really nice. We had a really good few hours chatting about stuff, and we came up with an idea, and it was a really positive experience. And I met his then wife briefly, and then New Order were playing about 2 months later, and I remember saying to you, can you get me some tickets for New Order? I want to go. And you said, oh, I'll see what I can do. And then you were like, oh, I could only get 2 tickets, and I'm taking Lena and his wife just to say thank you for me staying there. I was like, oh yeah. And I think that was that the start of your relationship? Tell me about that.
That was it. That was the first date.
Yeah. Was it officially a date, or?
It was by the end of the night.
So, when did you decide that you liked her? Like, what was the first?
Oh, weeks before.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just a lovely person.
Didn't you see her when you were out with Andy one night and said, "Who's she?"
Yeah, that was before I moved. That was before I moved into that house with them. He was doing a show in Santa Monica, a stand-up, and I was playing bass on stage, just playing the bass while he's doing his monologues and stuff.
Right.
And she was there helping him put the night on.
Yeah.
And I said to him, "Who's the girl with the short hair?" And he's like, that's my baby mama. She's available." So he put the thought into my head months before.
Yeah.
And then I ended up staying with them.
Yeah.
And it went from there.
Yeah. So very shortly after that, Christmas came around. And I had the boys for Christmas. And you called me on Christmas morning and you said, "What are you doing for Christmas?" I was like, "Oh, I just got the boys here." And you're like, "Can we come as well?" Tell me about that day. Who ended up coming?
So everybody came. It was me, Lena.
So there was like me and you and your new partner and her ex-husband
Yeah.
and their kids all around the Christmas dinner table.
Yeah.
Which was actually really cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a really good day.
Yeah.
People still talk about that Christmas dinner.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not the world's best cook. I'm really not the world's best cook. I don't have a love for cooking whatsoever.
I know.
But it was good. But it was good, that dinner, wasn't it?
It was a good dinner.
And Andy didn't believe that I'd actually made it.
Yeah, it was a good dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know you're not a really good cook.
It's not that I'm not. It's just I'm not interested in doing it. I don't get pleasure from preparing something for 3 hours that takes 10 minutes to then consume by everybody. I don't get that cooking thing. I've never had that gene in me. I mean, I like eating food, but it's just that preparation just feels like
Some people like it.
a waste of time.
Some people don't.
So tell us a little bit about what life is like now for Paul Ryder in the present day.
Well, I consider myself semi-retired.
Right.
And I have lots of downtime away from the music business. And I just relax and take it easy.
Yeah, do you feel like you've earned the right to do that?
To put my feet up, yeah, definitely. It's
Yeah.
been 40 years.
Really?
Since we first started, me and our kid, yeah.
Wow.
40 years this year.
Did you have any idea when you first started the band that 40 years later you'd be doing a podcast talking about it? They didn't even exist back then, did they?
No. Obviously, I wanted to make it last as long as possible. But 40 years is like a big stretch, isn't it? You know, from the conception of it until today, doing a podcast. 40 years is a long time.
Why do you think the band has had such longevity?
Originality.
Right.
Just because we was original. The music was original, the band was original and genuine, real.
Okay, but you were original 40 years ago, but what's kept the interest, you think, of the fans all those years?
I can only presume it's the music. Good music.
The Mondays inspire me no end. I was like, every time I went to see an Happy Mondays gig, I literally was like down for the next 2 days because I just thought, we can't do what they're doing, we can't be that good. They're another level, they're otherworldly, you know what I mean? And I'd come away literally just beating myself up about how shit we were.
In a lot of ways, sometimes it'd be like, you'd wish you was in the Happy Mondays and not in the Stone Roses in a weird kind of way, you know. It just they appealed to me a lot there, the look of them and the bastardised funk that they were trying to knock together and stuff like that. And you can hand on the heart, you can say there was never any kind of rivalry ever in Manchester. We always got like house on fire, and there was a mutual respect right there from the get-go, you know.
And then it'd take me a couple of days for people to say, no, you're not, you're great, you're good. I'm like, are you sure? Are we good? I'll give it another go then.
You have these great bands in Manchester that changed Manchester, they changed England, they changed the world. I didn't analyse what he did. I just knew he did what he did well, just like the rest of us, and he fitted in well, just like the Mondays did, and it was just cool, you know. I mean, it was funny because I suppose, if anything, the Mondays music has been spoilt for me by our closeness.
Right.
You know, I never got to judge them from a distance because I was always so involved with them right from the start. So whether it was emotionally or anything like that, I was never able to listen to them in any way, shape, or form from an unbiased point of view. They were always my Happy Mondays, and they were always factory bands, so we were always very clanny. We were always very close, and it was us against the world.
Yeah. Paul and Bez's friendship stretches right back to the very early days when Paul passed a loyalty test after they got into a bit of a scrape.
In the early days, none of us had a carrot, you know what I mean? And Paul used to run the car. I don't know how he done it, but it was never even to the edge of empty. It was always half down the empty, you know what I mean? And that car, it seems to run like magic, you know what I mean, on thin air. It used to go everywhere. Anyway, it was that skin, we were starving, and we all come to practice one day, and we decided, I said, no, go to Morrison's on the way home. And I used to go in Morrison's and fill a shopping trolley up of food and just walk out with it, you know what I mean? And on the way to the car, I don't know why they never stopped me at the siren. It might be because I looked a bit mad, you know what I mean? So I threw all this food in the boot, but the security fella got Paul's number, horse's number. And next minute, there's a phone call saying that, you know, he's got to go to the police station and all that. And that's when I knew that, you know, we did this bond forever, because obviously he never grasped me up, and he came up with some, you know, outlandish story why I was in the car with him.
And back in those days, Mark was only just beginning to twig what the band were up to when his back was turned.
I was more of a beer monster, and they disappeared, and I wondered why they're coming back happy. What they're doing? Oh, they're smoking weed, weren't they? Didn't tell me about it. I think why we did drugs is to get over the nerves, because I know Paul was very nervous. And it was just a way of, I couldn't give a fuck, let's get pissed, stoned, whatever, and just play and just enjoy ourselves. Don't care what them lot think out there. And they saw that, everybody saw that we were just enjoying ourselves, and we really didn't, well, if it ends tomorrow, we'll just go out for a blast, you know what I mean? I mean, apart from Bez buzzing about and tripping over my wires and causing mayhem, apart from that, I've nothing to worry about.
The audience age seems to have evolved.
Great seeing youngsters at the front. Youngsters.
How
Great seeing young people.
How do you think they've heard about you?
Parents.
Yeah?
Yeah. Although if you ask our kid, it's because he's on Gogglebox.
Sometimes there's an ingredient that's unquantifiable when it comes to musicians and the magic they can create just from simply being in a room together, you know. No one's been to no music school, everyone's flying by the seat of the pants. You know, you really are inventing the rules as you go along in many ways. And I think the Mondays on the Roses both had a modicum of that going on.
Well, it might be.
It might be, it could be.
It could
possibly.
be. Have you watched any of him on Gogglebox?
I've not seen any of it.
Why not?
I don't get it over here.
Right, okay, but you've seen him on some of his TV things.
I saw bits of him on YouTube when he was in the jungle. Well, that was 10 years ago.
I remember that, yeah. You were pretty obsessed with watching him. You enjoyed that. And you were proud of him as well.
Oh, very proud of him. Yeah, he did really well.
Yeah.
Very
were you
proud.
surprised he did so well?
Very surprised, yeah.
Why, what did you think he would do?
I thought he'd last about 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you remember seeing him doing?
Some of them challenges, the food challenges, where he ate the bugs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Wow.
just went straight for it.
Yeah. What do you think of him doing all this TV stuff, like all the quiz shows and the UFO show he did?
I'm trying to think about him doing it. God, he doesn't have to do so many. You know, he'll do anything, won't he?
I always thought the Mondays missed a trick, right? And this might be because of who I am. I always thought, I listened to that first album, and I think there's something really, really innovative and different there. And then we got Pills and Thrills, and that was like a DJ's album, Oakenfold. And I always thought the Mondays, and a lot of it down to Shaun and Bez, ended up being sort of like clowns. And, you know, they would play up, you know, swear on TV, go on, do a TFI Friday, and it would be funny because Shaun would come on and he'd try to contain himself not swearing. And they became like a music hall act. Right. Which I don't think Paul would have been over the moon about. I've got to be honest with you, I hated that. I thought they sold themselves short. And if they had been able to concentrate musically and develop musically, they could have been a different type of band. Not like a U2 or something like that, even though I'm not a U2 fan. But you know what I mean? And I suspect Paul wouldn't have wanted that, you know, because he didn't want to clown about. He wanted to be a professional musician.
But do you not think it's good for the band fundamentally?
Yeah, it's definitely good for the band. Yeah.
And Bez has become a bit of a star in his own right as well.
I think Bez comes across better on TV than Shaun does.
Yeah. Did you see him on Dancing on Ice?
Only what was on YouTube.
What did you think?
Thought it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think he manages to be so likeable?
He is likeable.
Yeah.
He's very loyal, Bez.
Yeah.
Very loyal character.
Mm-hmm.
Very honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of his charm.
Bez was just a fan. Let's
he
get
got
that
up
straight.
and danced, didn't
and he
he?
got up and danced into a few gigs, and it was such a success, should we say? Yeah. That's why they got him, you know. And he's got a good personality, Bez, and I'd never say anything against him. You know, he's done very well, and promoted the band in the right way.
I'm not too sure how keen everyone else was to have me, because like this is like a one-off, you know what I mean? And it was actually Tony Wilson who said that I should join the band, because I think I reminded him a little bit of Ian Curtis, you know, because he used to fucking do all that mad sort of freaky sort of dancing. And it was like Tony who kind of pushed the into the band more than the band did, actually. Right. Yeah, but yeah, then and I've been on stage ever since, obviously. We never quite reached the dizzy heights that we imagined for ourselves. We wanted to be like the biggest rock and roll band in the world, you know what I mean? Like, you know, legendary status, rock and roll, like, you know, we lived the rock and roll lifestyle, but we never like quite managed to, you know, get that world like recognition. We were young, we had fucking dreams, we was having great times, great parties, really enjoying ourselves. And of course, in the early days, before we could afford, you know, to have our own hotel room, me and Horse used to share rooms together as well. So we travelled the world sharing rooms together as well. And I could tell you a few stories, but I better not.
I mean, he's got a kind of reputation of being a complete caner. Like, do you think that's...
He still is a complete caner.
How does he manage to look so healthy, though?
Because when he's not on stage, he's working out.
Yeah.
And he lives in the country.
And he does a lot of juicing, and he's really into his health, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's distilled water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's convinced that gets rid of his grey hair.
What, distilled water?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Mm.
Have you ever tried it?
Not yet. I drink the tap water over here. It's like, That's 90% recycled piss, isn't it?
Do you not have a water filter?
Yeah. Easier to get it out the tap.
Right, so then it's not...
Oh, not in the house is a water
No.
filter. We have a separate unit that you... like a jug thing.
Right. So obviously, without giving away the exact location of where you live, like, tell me about where you live.
I live 25 miles away from Palm Springs, on the edge of Joshua Tree National Park.
Wow, what's that like?
Very, very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Very quiet indeed.
Mm.
That's where I like to spend my time.
Yeah.
Doing not much.
So you sound like you've had a complete reboot of your life, really.
I have, yeah. Really rebooted.
Yeah.
I couldn't sit still for many years.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't like to stay at home. I had to be out doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was youthful, I had to be out at a club.
Yeah.
Or some music venue.
Mm-hmm.
I had to be out for like 6 days a week.
And what do you think initiated the change?
Oh God, I've slowed down.
By choice or?
Just naturally.
Yeah. So, about 3 years ago, you earned a new title in your life of being a granddad.
Oh yes.
You weren't very happy about... You were very happy about having a grandchild, but you weren't happy about the name granddad, were you?
I didn't want to be granddad. I really didn't want to be granddad.
Absolutely over the moon, but it wasn't being called granddad.
But I am now used to it.
Right, so at the beginning, they used to call you a different word, didn't they?
Yeah.
So, because Lila's other granddad in Arabic is Gidu, he fancied being called Gidu.
I have 2 granddaughters, Lila and Bridget, and Lila is the oldest. She's now at school, and her father is Egyptian, and Gidu is the word for granddad in Egypt. So I was Gidu for a while.
Then one day Lila was crying, and we said, "What's the matter?" She said, "I've not got a granddad, and my friends have got a granddad."
Oh.
So Amelia said to her, "Of course you've got a granddad." She said, "Paul's your granddad." "Oh, but you call him Gidu, like you call your other granddad Gidu."
Yeah.
So she, "But I don't want 2 Gidus,
No.
I want a granddad."
Oh.
So Paul said, "You've got a granddad." So
Yeah.
ever since then, it was all right, because
Yeah.
she knew she wanted a granddad.
And I've been granddad ever since.
Oh.
And then it was all granddad, granddad, granddad.
And now do you not mind the title?
No, I love it.
And even the other day, she said to me, "Does everybody get upset because granddad's not here? Because I do."
And what's Bridget like as a baby?
She's still baby, just sleeping all the time. So I get to see her next week. I've not seen her for a couple of months.
So you're quite fortunate, really, in that your job with the band takes you back to England a lot, so you can keep in touch with your family.
At least 7 times a year.
Wow.
For different lengths of time.
And do you still hold a candle to Manchester because it's where you're from and where everything was born?
Yeah, of course I do. It's Manchester. It's a great place to be born.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got 2 granddaughters, and when you first asked me to do this podcast thing, it was like, no thanks, it's not really me. I don't really like being interviewed and stuff like that. But then I thought, what about the granddaughters? You know, maybe they want to listen back to Grandad in 20 years' time. You know, and this podcast will still be floating around, hopefully.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons I'm doing it is for them to.
Yeah.
So they can find out who Grandad was.
But also, as well, I think, to redress some of the myths.
Oh, yeah, definitely wanted to do that, which I think I've done. I mean, if anyone's got any questions, please get them to me and I'll put the myth right.
Yeah. Well, obviously we're going to carry on, even though we've kind of virtually brought it up to present day. We're going to carry on doing this podcast. And so any questions are really welcome, aren't they?
Yeah.
And there are some myths still to be busted. But, you know, it's important to set the record straight, isn't it?
Yeah, I wanted to say it. It's been 40 years. Let's have the truth.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. It's very brave of you, though, to do that as well.
Yeah, well, the truth will set you free.
Yeah, and even when the truth isn't really particularly pretty, at least it's the truth.
Yeah.
And there's not, like, lies floating round about you.
Yeah.
Which there have been a lot of. Yeah. So the last thing... Well, two more things we need to talk about. Number one is, where are we up to right now in terms of the Mondays and any plans? I mean, you've got some tours coming up, but any plans to actually release any new material? Do you still have an aspiration to do that?
I'd love to release a new album. It's just whether me and Shaun are getting on well enough to work together.
Are you willing to actually put out an olive branch to make that happen?
Wow, I've given him an olive tree. More than once.
Yeah.
Never mind a branch. I've given him a tree on a few occasions and he's not taken it. So, you know, I don't know where he's up to.
Do you think he will?
Possibly.
Yeah.
It's quite possible. Never say never.
We can all live in hope, can't we?
Yeah.
Do you think you've all still got it in you to create new stuff?
Oh, God, yeah, definitely. Definitely. We're playing better than ever.
Yeah.
You know, our shows are really good, tight band.
Yeah.
And Shaun's singing better than ever.
And do you actually enjoy performing now?
Yeah, I don't puke up before I go on stage anymore.
Musically, they never really developed. They got overtaken by fame and by the Madchester scene and dance music and the drugs and, you know, people making money. I mean, you know, Bez was in the Sunday Times this week, you know, where he goes on holiday, right? You know, all this I'm a celebrity getting me out of stuff I'd never watch. Gogglebox and stuff. People say it's brilliant. I've never watched it. You know, I don't like seeing people I had very, very high regard for as musicians and innovators becoming clowns, basically. Shaun won't like me saying that, but I think that's basically it.
I think times have changed, and I think now you kind of have to. I think people like Tony Wilson's ideas of things, or Bob Dylan these days, you wouldn't get a sniffing. Times have changed, and I think you've got to do. And I think there was a bit of friction between me and Paul friction between me and Paul versus Shaun, because Shaun probably felt like me and Paul felt like that, and we probably did back then. We kind of got used to it and kind of warmed to it and accept it now. But we were kind of very old-fashioned in the way of, you know, keep it rock and roll and it should be about the music and about the art. And Shaun was like, don't be naive, times have changed. And no one's wrong, you know, I think it's just different. Well, I'm doing my own stuff. I want to still do it the old way and it'll probably be to my detriment. But I know that it's Paul on my shoulder all the time, you know. Don't make a dick of yourself.
I think they sold themselves short. And maybe it's the way of working class lads. Maybe working class lads do that. You know, you look at Oasis and you look at Blur and you know which groups are working class lads, don't you really?
Okay, so the other things that we have to talk about, things coming up in the future. Number one is, of course, this podcast, which obviously by now everybody knows about. But also there's a book in the works. Tell us about that.
A book of the podcast.
Yeah, well, it's kind of...
Maybe going into a little bit more nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
But there will be a book.
And the other project that you're doing in collaboration with Gaz is a movie.
Is the movie.
The movie. Tell us about...
Loosely based on some of the Monday's stories.
Well, kind of inspired by...
Okay, inspired by. So it's about a Manchester band who existed 20 years ago.
25
years ago. And they're offered this great chance to get back together.
Right.
With but with a unsavoury type manager.
Obviously, it's not exactly the story of the Mondays. It's just a comedy drama inspired by yours and Gaz's experience of being in the Mondays.
Yeah.
But that's where the similarity kind of ends, I guess.
Yeah, we'll keep it at that.
Yeah, yeah. But you and Gaz have been brilliant.
Yeah.
Sharing some ideas for anecdotes and stories, and you'll also have cameo roles in the film, won't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it won't be a drug dealer this time. You always get typecast as a drug dealer.
I know.
Don't you?
I'm always a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Wonder why that is.
Funny that.
And Paul and Gaz aren't the only ones who are going to have cameo roles in the movie.
When we end up doing the movie, would you two like to be in it?
Oh, that is a joke.
Oh, God.
Oh, Angela.
It'd have to have an X rating.
Hey, but it won't be your screen debut, will it? Because you've already been in another of our productions, haven't you?
Oh, do you remember
yes.
that? Oh, God.
Have you seen it It's on YouTube, Sandra.
Yes, Linda and Sandra, along with their friend Kathleen, appeared as extras in a show that my company made called Con Men Case Files, where they played the parts of victims of a fake psychic in our old kitchen in Manchester. Have a look at this.
Despite the far-fetched fictitious origins of Paul Williams' alleged psychic gift, his career as a psychic funded a glamorous, opulent lifestyle.
I remember that. Didn't we have a laugh? Want it, a laugh. Oh, God.
So the film is in development right now, and there's some financing attached. So in the next, I would say probably 18 months to 2 years, you should be seeing
and hearing about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, great.
Brilliant. Well, we're going to play another track. All
Thanks.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you for being amazing.
Sunday morning. You should have been at church.
Well, you can do that next week, maybe. All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
12 days after this recording was made, Paul was dead.
Can we go back to the horrible day when he died? Can you talk about what happened that day?
Yeah. Well, you sure you want this? We got a gig. The day before we did a rehearsal, Paul turned up with his daughter Amelia. He didn't look too good, but he was saying he'd had COVID jab and he thinks it's affected his hearing. So he couldn't play, which was very unusual because normally, he tried, but he just couldn't play. So there was a problem there. And the last thing I said to Paul was, see how you are in the morning, and if it's, if you're not in improvement, go and see a doctor. Well, the next thing, I get a phone call in the morning. Mila rang me up and says she sounded very stressed and emotional, and I said to Jane, I said, Paul, you might need to go to the hospital. So when I got there, he was just on the couch, just pale. He'd been dead for a while.
Mark and his wife Jane tried mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on Paul as the rest of the band gathered in shock at Paul's mum's house.
Then the paramedics came in and they just looked and said, no, he's been gone for a while, But it's not the thing I wanted to see, really,
That must have been hugely traumatic for you. And
it was, because, it's just, and then it got a bit worse.
He's not the most emotional of people, and he was absolutely beside himself. And when I got out to Linda's, he was just bawling his head out, and he said, and he had an argument with Shaun and him, and he said, I just can't cope. I've got to go. And he said, but I don't want to leave him. And I've never seen Mark like that ever.
Shaun was saying we should still do the gig at some point as well, and I was like, I can't even get on the bus. I can't travel anywhere today without him being there. It's just impossible. People were ringing, asking, could you do the gig? Shaun wants to do the gig, which is just mad. I didn't understand that. And he was having a go at Mark Day. It's not up to you, it's up to her, talking about his mum, when I got there.
Do we do the gig or not, you know? No, he's on the floor, he's dead, he's on the floor, we're not doing a gig, you know. Fans or no fans, it's not happening.
And even the first gig we did in Scotland without Horse, without Paul, and we was driving home, and Mark just leaned over to me and said, "We're going to be home on time." And I went, "I know." He went, "It's not the same about stopping every 30 minutes for Paul to have a cig and you have a piss." So I have a piss every 30 minutes and Sean has a cig. And he said, and he just looked at me and Mrs. Mark, and tears rolling down his eyes. He just put his head on my shoulder, and we both just started. I know we're going all Hollywood, but we both just started tears through now. It was just really, and you know what? And Rowetta as well. She took it really bad, and she's been really good on stage. Every gig she's mentioned him. Every gig.
I couldn't believe it, you know what I mean? And I rushed right down to the house, you know what I mean? And he was still laying in the front room. Mark had tried doing some mouse to mouth on him. And it was so shocking to see when you're your best mates who you've spent lay there dead, and I'll never forget his face, you know what I mean, because he looked really angry to me, because he looked like it wasn't his time to go. And then my dad died about 5 hours later as well, which was like it was double death in one day.
We tried to make Paul's funeral the send-off that he would have wanted. The music playing as his coffin was being carried into the church.
If you had to pick one Manchester track that would be your go-to, what's your kind of favourite seminal Manchester track?
Ooh. It would probably be a New Order song.
Yeah.
And probably Ceremony.
Ceremony, you said that before, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Ceremony was the song that we played as his coffin was being carried by his 3 sons and Shaun, Gaz and his childhood friend Carl into the church. And we had 2 people who were singing.
I've been playing Echo and the Bunnymen on repeat for the last 3 months when I drive. It's weird. I've
Love the Bunnymen.
rediscovered them again.
I saw them last year. They was playing the same festival as the Mondays. And it was great. Stood at the side of the stage and watched the Bunnymen.
Nice.
Incredible.
Yeah, Ian McCulloch's still got it.
Yeah, Gaz said to him, "Best band in the world," and McCulloch turned around and said, "I know."
Did he?
Playing Nothing Lasts Forever was the man himself, Ian McCulloch, the singer from Echo and the Bunnymen. And Rowetta made sure that there wasn't a dry eye in the house when she sang Bridge Over Troubled Water, but she found it really, really difficult.
I'm not doing any more, that's what I've said, that's it now. It was just a blur. I hate singing, I hate the idea of funerals. So it was just awful, but very proud as well. Because, you know, I feel like I'm family in a way. I've known him for so long. All the children, everybody. So, yeah, and, it's just horrible, isn't it? And it's just the kids. It's such a shock, as you know. But, we just all miss him so much, obviously.
There were some really moving speeches, including one by Paul's dear friend Ian Brown. And the music playing as his coffin was being carried out of the church.
8 years old, and David Bowie comes on doing Starman with a big blue acoustic guitar. I'd never seen a blue guitar before in my life. And he looked like he'd stepped out of another world. And it was like my life changed at that moment.
Yeah, it was Starman by David Bowie. But the really weird thing is that I had no idea that a few years before, Paul had told his friend Jason that those 3 songs are exactly what he would have wanted at his funeral.
When we was working out in France in 2006, morbid as we were, we'd often speak about, you know, if I die, will you come to my funeral? If, you know, you die first, will I come to your funeral? And I was like, yeah, of course I'll come to your funeral. I was like, would you come to mine? He went, nah, couldn't be asked. I was like, oh, that's great. And then we'd speak about what songs we'd have played at our funeral, you know, and he'd said to me that without question, it would be Ceremony by New Order, which we both thought was a poignant and great choice. And then it was Starman. And he also said that he'd like Echo and the Bunnymen. And of course, Ian got to sing the song at Paul's funeral, which the music that day just, you know, like I said, walking into the church and ceremony was playing, it just took me back to that day when we was on that patio thinking, I never thought this would happen, and here we are.
Yeah. Well, I remember on the day of the funeral, I remember thinking it was going to be really hard seeing Sonny and Chico carrying the coffin. And we got down and they picked the coffin up and we were walking along into the church. I thought, oh, I can do this. This is okay. Right. I can do this. And then I heard ceremony start and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
As funerals go, we think it's exactly what Paul would have loved. There was apparently even some naughty behaviour going on.
I'll tell you one thing that happened at the funeral that was fucking amazing, right? I bumped into outside. Now, there was only one toilet at the funeral, right? And it was a long service, which was wonderful. It doesn't bother me in one iota. But, of course, all us old blokes needed a piss, didn't we? So anyway, at the end, as everybody was coming out, there was a big queue for the toilet.
Oh, okay.
At the head of the queue was the priest waiting to go in. So anyway, I'm stood there with and says to me, do you want a line? Are you coming to the bog, okay? Because I mean, I've not done drugs for 18 years. So I said, no, mate, you go on your own. And my abiding memory of that is watching and push the priest out of the way when they went in the toilet to have a fucking line at Paul Ryder's funeral. Right? And I just thought, my God, Manchester, what a place.
I'm sure Hooky was just simply mistaken and they were just both desperate to pee, right? We're playing out with Paul's favourite Big Arm track, and that is Love Is. So we're almost at the end of this phase of the series where Paul and I are the main interview spine of the episodes, but we've decided to keep the series going by playing you some more of the extended versions of the interviews with our fab guests. There's such brilliant material that we didn't get to use, and so many people have said that they didn't want this to end. So we're calling it season 2, the bonus interviews. We'll continue next week with everyone's favourites. Yes, the rock and roll mums, Linda and Sandra, will be doing the whole show next time. And there's also a few more bits and pieces of Paul that we've saved, as well as a lot of home video footage that we've not used. So you will see more of him popping up from time to time as the weeks unfold in these bonus episodes. So please come back next week and join us. Thank you all for making this a consistently chart-topping show, both in the UK and Ireland, and in loads of other foreign countries as well. I know we've been in the charts in something like 25 different countries. Paul would have been absolutely blown away, I know, and I'm sure he's listening, watching from up there. Please stay connected with us via our website, paulryder.tv, where you'll find our socials and our shop. Have a brilliant week. See you next week. Please come back, same time, same place.
Things I've said. Love is loving you from afar. Love is my sports car. Love is loving you. Life's been good to me so far. Some of these things are meant for loving. Some of these things are just like having. Some of these things are alive and living. Some of these things I don't like giving. Some of these things are meant for loving. Some of these things are just like having. Some of these things are alive and living. Some of these things I don't like giving. like a brother. Love has seen you from afar, 'cause I hate you just the way you are. Some of these things are meant for loving, some of these things are just like having, some of these things are alive and living, some of these things I don't like giving, some of these things are meant for loving, some of these things are just like having, some of these things are alive and living, some of these things I don't like giving. Love is my big bet. Love is the things I've said. Love is loving you from afar. Love is my sports car. Love is loving you. Life's been good to me so far. Some of these things are meant for loving. Some of these things are just like having. Some of these things are alive and living. Some of these things I don't like giving. Some of these things are meant for loving. Some of these things are just like having. Some of these things are alive and living. Some of these things I don't like. Some of these things are meant for loving. Some of these things are just like having. Some of these things are alive and living. Some of these things I don't like giving. Some of these things are meant for loving. Some of these things are just like having. Some of these things are alive and living. Some of these things I don't like giving. Some of these things are meant for loving. Some of these things are just like having. Some of these things are alive and living. Some of these things I don't like giving. Some of these things are meant for loving. Some of these things are just like having. Some of these things are alive and living. Some of these things I don't like giving.
Glistening Productions.
He was always the same throughout his life, fame, fortune. He was always the same guy. Always, no airs and graces, no pretensions. He was a wonderful guy. Miss him so much.